Well, hello and welcome to glennzb TV for Wednesday, the show that puts glennzb up your Periscope. I'm bringing New Zealand to the world and the world back to New Zealand. This morning, we've got a lot of weird behaviour in Parliament yesterday, a lot of shouting and carrying on, and John Key saying some slightly random things about the Christmas Island detainees, and then Labour throwing their toys and leaving. How unusual is this? I mean, there's a lot of silly stuff. It's mostly silly stuff. And in any House of Parliament anywhere in the world, I mean, we've seen scenes of brawls, fights, people being beaten up because they ate beef in India, for example. A lot of insults being shouted around the place. So I think we're allowed to be silly in Parliament and shouty and arguey, but it's a fine line, and apparently they took it too far yesterday. And it's a hard one, isn't it? We can cut them some slack because we want them to be silly, just not that silly. Is that? I think that's where we just don't. Can we have a? We'll just get the silliness meter here, and so we want it. I think we want it pretty much 50% silly, but they took it up about there, I think. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, fighting somebody because they ate beef, that's sort of around there. That's on the silly meter, silometer there. But yeah, they were around there, and that's, as we can see, that's right orange, nearly into the red zone there. So dial it back. We don't want it down here, that'd be boring, but somewhere around there. All right, now, of course, speaking of Christmas Island, it turns out there's a bloke there who's a war hero, he's got medals, but he failed a character test, which is why he's been sent to Christmas Island. Mike Hosking, yeah, he's back, described him as a motorcyclist this morning. He's not, I don't know if you can call a gang member a motorcyclist. I mean, technically that's correct, but it makes them sound slightly more civilised than they are. Perhaps if he described himself as a motorcyclist, he would have passed that character test. But that's a weird thing to be put into a detention centre for, isn't it? Like, just failing a character. I'm not sure I would last very long in the general population in Australia, or if I was being tested for my character on a regular basis. I think I'd fail most character tests, probably deliberately, in fact. Somebody says they think that I need a bigger one. Do they mean a bigger character, or do they think I mean a bigger silometer? You're probably right. We a full circle one. We go infrared and then round into the invisible spectrum. Somebody else wants to know whether I got detention much at school. Sadly, yes, that is true. I don't think this is that kind of detention. I don't think people are at Christmas Island writing out lines. I'm not sure. Hey, thanks for your help, New Zealand. It turns out that you are the second equal most generous country in the world. So good on you for being so generous. This is an annual index released by the Charities Aid Foundation. The United States was second equal with us. If we'd just given a little bit more, we could have pipped the US there. Australia was fifth. Bunch of selfish bastards they turned out to be. And the Poms, sixth. But weirdly, and I mean, if you've heard this story already, you'll know this, but this might be a surprise to you. The most generous country is Myanmar. So they're really in the news this week, aren't they? What with their free elections, and now 92% of them are being donating to. And if it is our donation, are they then using our donations to make their own donations? This seems like a false economy to me. It's very confusing. We've got some more equine questions off the back of the New Zealand Cup yesterday. Is that what it's called? Cup Day in Christchurch? Is it the New Zealand... horses running around. I don't know. We covered off this last week. I don't understand the sport. But request for sunblock and paracetamol kept St John's staff busy. This is the ambulance staff. Yes, I know I need a better 3G Wi-Fi connection. I'm well aware of that. There's nothing I can do about that. It's New Zealand. We want more infrastructure, but there's only 3 people who live here, so we can't justify it. Anyway, Request for sunblock and paracetamol kept our ambulance staff busy at yesterday's annual Cup Day in Christchurch. Hot temperatures coupled with alcohol consumption resulted in headaches for a number of ticket holders. So, chaos. Who saw that coming? Horse racing is a mystery to me. I don't understand what's going on. And I just want to finish up with a little time travel conundrum, because Jeb Bush has said that if he could go back in time, he would kill baby Hitler, even if baby Hitler was cute. So we've got some artist impressions here on the internet. I don't know, that's not really a cute one. That one's cuter. That baby Hitler there. I'm hoping you can see this in spite of my poor Wi-Fi 3G that you're moaning about. That one, I think you could have done a better job with the photoshopping on that one. Must try harder, that photoshopper. This is my favourite though, here, this baby Hitler. It's almost like that baby Hitler's been caught dressing up as Hitler and is feeling a bit embarrassed about it. Anyway, that was glennzb TV for Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me. If I grew the right moustache, I would look a bit like baby Hitler, probably. Thank you for having me. Up your Periscope. I'll see you back here again tomorrow.